to something. Fuck that you're up to something. Your sun goes. I feel like you're up to something. Fuck that you're up to something.
Hi y'all, it is such a pleasure to be back here with you again, joining me with Maya's Thoughts. Now today's topic is going to be a little bit easy, less so serious, a little bit more to talk about something that we all, I think, in the age group that I am. I'm in my 20s because I mentioned in my introduction that I am 25. I actually just turned 26 December 18th, so this past Monday, so I have to remind myself that I'm 26. Ooh, it hurts. It hurts to say it. But for anybody in their 20s, we can all attest to this. Like raise hand, plead to the Lord himself that adulting sucks. It sucks. It sucks so much. I think like anybody that I talk to my age, they're like, oh, if I could just go back and live with my parents, I would. And I'm like, I don't know if I live back with my parents, but if I could have somebody pay my bills, I'm for it. Like, and you see so many people like trying to find ways to like, we got people that are looking for sugar daddies. We got people looking for just older men. We don't want the young boys anymore. Everybody's just trying to, and this age is just trying to find stability. Not have to worry about the next meal or the next day. So today we're going to talk about adulting. I mean, I can start from anywhere with adulting, anything that we could talk about. But like, what really is adulting? Like, what really makes you go, from the teens to adulting? Because adulting doesn't have anything to do with age. Yes, once you hit 18, back then you were old enough to buy nicotine, tobacco, whatever you want to call it, and that made you feel like, oh, I'm an adult. But what really stands you from being adult besides the age? Like what really, because people always say, oh, you could be grown, the age makes you grown, but you're not really an adult until certain things. And I'm not talking about the little adulting, we all had in high school, especially for girls. We always had this best friend. The best friends always had to plan. Everybody can say like, yeah, I did this with my best friend. Where you sat there and you're like, your junior or senior year, you're sitting there like, we're going to get this apartment and we're going to go to this college together. And you just got life planned out. You just don't even know that life is like getting ready to finna slap you the fuck up. Like, you don't even know what you're walking into. You're just like, you and my bestie and me. And we're just going to conquer the world together. And it's great. Those are dreams. You're not goal material. You're not having goals if you don't have dreams. So nobody's saying it's wrong, but like we all know that many of us that had those little plans, it fell through the minute we decided to graduate high school. People went to the military, people went out to college, people had these everybody was just going in different ways because we were adulting. And it was very hard. I'll tell you, if I tell you my story about how I decided to graduate high school and what I decided to do in my little 2 months of being out of school, out of my parents' house, like, the girl was turned. I grew up like very Christian, very locked down. So entering into college, college was a different level of maturing. I was always told as a young person, oh, you're mature for your age. You're mature for your age. Yeah. And then you get to college, and college requires a different level of maturity. And I tell people that all the time. I'm like, don't send your kids to school. Don't send them off to college if they weren't able to get their good grades and they weren't able to complete their homework without you constantly reminding them in high school. Because college requires you to be self-controlled. Like, you have to tell yourself, okay, you can go to this party, but you better understand that you got a test in the morning at 7 a.m. and you need to pass it. Like, college is a different level of adulting that nobody will understand unless you went to college. It's like maturing times 17. Like, you have to be real mature to make sure that you're going to these classes and you're still doing everything. Because let me tell you, I was a little party rock star in college. I was bouncing over here, bouncing over there. Listen, it was very hard for me to sit down and remind myself of who I was before college. So college was just like, whew, I wasn't ready for that one. I don't think anybody who went to college was ready for what they was. Then I saw so many kids that were homesick, and I was like, dude, homesick? I can do what I want. What are you talking about, homesick? Like, we can do what we want. Homesick for what? But as you go on, you realize they're homesick because all college kids are what? We are broke. broke as, and you know, I always wondered, like, how did we get to party? How do we always have liquor? How do we always have this? And we were literally broke. Like, most college kids have to still work and still go to classes. So it was just like, college is just stressful beyond stressful. It really is a slap in the face of what adulting will become. And then you get out of college, or you start getting older, and you're in the ages of 21 to 24, and you know, bills start becoming yours. And it's like, ooh, bills. The first of the month hits every month. You know, it's so funny because we know it comes every month, but it's like deep down inside we praying like something happens, the earth shifts, and all of a sudden we don't gotta pay rent this month. Like, rent is the most realistic way of knowing that you're an adult. Because, you know, you got, at the first of the month, you always got something that's getting ready to snatch your money. And if you ever seen that meme, I always want to tell my landlord, I ain't got no money. Because who has it? Who has it, not me, sis? Because I just decided to be immature, and I decided to go out with my friends and go on vacation, and I still have bills. So that age of 21, 22, it's like you're learning that you have bills, but you are not being totally understanding that you're an adult now. Nobody else is going to pay it for you. So like 21, 22, you're making mistakes. You have bills. You know you have bills. You have the money for the bills. But you're spending it on other stuff because you're still stuck in that mind frame of, I still want to have fun with the young teenager. But I'm technically like adulting, really, like I'm really an adult here. I'm really an adult, and I think that that's the hardest thing to like accept in the age of like 21, 22, 23. It's like, okay, immaturity has to go out the window now. Like, it has to go out the window. I remember when I was like 23, and I remember like, you know, it was a time where it was to pay rent, and I was, you know, still in school, and I was just like, I decided to take on an extra degree to be a vet assistant. I was trying. It was COVID was just happening. I was bored. And, you know, rent was coming around. And I was like, I don't have it. And it was my first adult experience, like, having to, like, actually go out and find a loan. Go out and do these things. And I was just like, oh, crap. That's what debt is? Like, I owe somebody? Like, loans, if you haven't ever had to get a loan out yet, thank the heavens. Because it sucks. A loan sucks. Because you literally owe somebody. And it's not like, oh, you owe your mom for a couple of dollars, or you owe a friend where you could say, oh, let me just push it off. Let me push it off. No, like, they want their money. And you don't got that neither. So, you know, the key things of adulting that sucks that we all just wish would, like, not be a part of adulting is the bills, the undecisiveness. Oh, my goodness. Like, from the ages of 21 to 24, you've went to school, but in this day and age, there's so many opportunities to get money where, like, you're so undecisive on, do I want to stay on this path, and I just want to stay and do this degree and find a job in my, like, a career in my degree and just be happy with that? Or do I want to try to podcast? Do I want to try to be a YouTuber? Do I want to be a TikToker? Do I want to be an influencer? What do I want to do with my life? Do I want to be married? Do I want kids? It's just so much undecisiveness, and you feel like you have to figure it out right now, right here, because you're an adult now. Like, it's not in high school, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's like, that has passed. The bill has passed. Pooh. Like, we're at the stopping point now. It's like, you kind of got to know. And, you know, you really deep down, you don't know still. So the undecisiveness is like, aches your stomach in that age of 21 to 24. The friendships, the relationships, oh my gosh. Adulting, you might as well say that you're an introvert. I used to be an extrovert, and everybody I know that was an extrovert is now an introvert, because what are friends when you're an adult? Like, it's like, you know, I always applaud the people that I see that are still friends with, like, their childhood friends. Cause I'm like, y'all made it through the storm, y'all made it through the weather. Don't y'all ever give up on each other. But the friendships is so hard. Then the relationships, you know, as a woman, you're like, I just want a man so he can pay my bills, so I don't have to worry about adulting in that way. But it's not as good because, you know, men are from Jupiter, so they just keep getting stupider. So, you know, you kind of just keep going from man to man, hoping that one day you'll actually find a man and not a little boy again. And it's so hard. And for a guy, you know, women are out here trying to get their bills paid. So you're like trying to swerve strippers, you're trying to swerve the women who are just trying to get their bills paid and find you a good one. And the relationship and the friendship key factor, you might as well let that be like your least known. Your social life, adulting is like in the wind. It is all over the place. Like, you might as well just like say forget it. Like, I'm just gonna worry about my social life later because I still have these bills to pay. So it's what. So, you know, social life is like, honestly, it's something that is the least concerns, but it's something that you yearn for as an adult. I mean, it's something, and then finding a job, gosh, like whether you're in school or you're out of school, trying to find a job while trying to keep a social life, it all hurts. It all hurts. I recently went to an interview, right? I just moved to a new city. And I went to an interview, and I had 2 interviews back to back. So I'm thinking this is gonna be a great job. I'm gonna get paid really good. They're telling me what the salary is. I'm like, oh my goodness, because I have an outstanding resume. So I'm like, okay, clearly whoever calls me, they see my resume, so they know what they have to, you know, offer me. Well, COVID kind of screwed that up, and you know I should have kept that in mind. But hey, I'm all for it. And I got the first interview, and I'm like, this is great. Then they made me do round 2 interview with a different person. I'm like, oh my goodness. You know, to have these 2 different interviews, you know, this gotta be like this good job, you know. I'm a professional. I'm a business person. So I'm like, okay, cool. They say orientation. So orientation is 2 weeks later. I go to orientation. And the orientation is about 2 hours, and they have us having a notebook down, and they're teaching us. So I'm getting the gist of it, that this is sales, because we're talking about bottles of water. And they're talking about the different types of bottled water, what the bottled water is, and how much bottled water sells. And then there's just like, yeah, we have a station in Sam's Club. So I'm getting the gist of it, that I'm going to be one of those annoying ass people that stalk you down inside stores and be like, ma'am, can I just show you? Can I just show you? As people are walking by. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I refuse to hassle people. I'm not getting cursed out for nobody. And then I'm like, okay, well, you know, they told us, you know, how much we're going to get paid weekly. And I'm like, I could do that for whatever. And I'm like, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, how did you pull up my resume? This nice built resume that shows I have tons of experience in administration, organization, corporate, task force, running hotels, running businesses. Where in my resume did you say, oh, I think she would be great at selling bottles of water? So that was my first thing. I was like, okay. And then my second thing was, the lady starts, and she's like, okay, well, let's go into your pay. And everybody's like, yeah, let's talk about this. And this lady says, okay, you get $30 per sale. Okay. We all know with sales, it takes a while to build up. It's not consistent. So I most definitely in my interview, you know, didn't hear anything about commission. So I'm like, okay, that sounds like commission. And if it's commission only, this isn't the job for me. I like mine to be guaranteed. And then she goes, but you know, we're not commission only. We have something to fall back on. I'm like, okay. And she's like, if you do not make a good enough amount of sales that week, then we will switch it over to $12 an hour. Well, when I say I got up, now my last salary that I had, I won't give you the grand total of what I make a year, but it was over $50,000 a year. So when I'm hearing this woman say that I'm going to get paid $12 an hour, well, when you have bills and you have an income, you match your bills to your income. So I can live in this type of area because I can drive this type of car because I make this. So, you know, when you switch jobs, you have to find a job that has that salary that will still be able to provide you the lifestyle that you're living. And I'm like, what my salary is, break it down hourly, to go down to 12 is almost $13, $14 of a pay drop. And I'm like, first of all, this isn't what they said in the 2 interviews that they had me go through. Not to mention, y'all had me go through 2 interviews like I was getting ready to work with James Bond, and it's to sell freaking Purified Life water and Zephyros. And so that was piss off, 1. And then number 2 was, that's not what she said in the interview. So everybody's sitting there, and if you know me, I'm a Sagittarius. I'm going to say what I got to say how I feel, and I'm going to stand on it. So I was like, excuse me, right in the middle of what she said. And I was like, that is not what I was told. And she just like, I just started going, and y'all said that we were getting this weekly. And she's like, oh, well, that's based off if you got this much commission. Cool. Y'all got to worry about seeing me again. Like, adulting is so It's so much ups and downs. Because then now I'm like, okay, new city, bills are coming up, got rent on the 1st, I got 2 weeks, no job. So now I gotta hustle, I gotta grind. Like literally when I got home, I was just like, adulting sucks. Adulting sucks. Adulting sucks. It will always suck. And then, I just turned 26. So, from the age of 25 to 26, from 21 to 24, you're sitting there trying to find yourself, decide what you're going to do with your life. And then from 25 to 26, you have lost yourself. The same person you have found, you have lost. And now you are trying to recreate yourself. Because now you're getting into I'm older, I'm 25, I'm 26, I'm almost to 30. I need to make sure I have a husband on the way, kids, a life, whatever your dream goals are. At the age of 25 to 26, you're like, these things need to be put in motion. If I plan on having kids after having married, I need to be getting married by next year. These things start going through your head. And so whoever you just took to build up and decide between 21 and 24, put out the window. Because 25, 26, you're like, okay, now it's time to be serious. Even though you said from 21 to 24 you were serious. 25 to 26, you're like, I'm serious. Like, for real. Like, I'm not kidding this time. I need to know who I am because I have dreams and goals that I now need to put in motion. So that's really what it comes to. And the worst thing about adulting is you're like, I could do whatever I want. Everybody wants to be an adult, right? I want to get in my mom's house. I want to grow. I want to be whoever I want to be. I want to be 19, 20 because I can party. I can do this. But that is the worst. Nobody told you that the underlying, what do they call it? I can't think of it. When you read something, the fine print. Nobody said that the fine print is when you're a kid. They always say when you grow up and you're an adult, when you're grown, you can do whatever you want. And then under there in the fine print, it says that's the pro to be an adult is you can do whatever you want, and the con to an adult is you can do whatever you want. Because having free will literally cannot always feel free. I can do whatever I want. I can sit here and I can party and I can drink every day. But if I do what I really want to do, because nobody really wants to go to work. Nobody really wants to sit here and have to struggle to create a career and a life. We would all just like to throw our hands up in the air. And if it's me, because my little old hippie self, I would love to hop in a van and go from country to country, visiting nature, waterfalls and mountains and canyons and meeting new people and partying with them. And that would be my I do whatever I want. But the fine print is if you do whatever you want, nobody's paying your bills. So your cell phone's going off, your rent is not getting paid. So the fine print is you can do whatever you want, but you have to have enough control to not do whatever you want. So adulting is pure crap. It is a lie. And then we like to talk about, whoever made the 9 to 5 Monday thing. We're going to talk about that in another episode on why I think, I was once upon a time thinking, yeah, who created that? Who created work? Who created a job? But then I thought about it. I'm like, if we didn't have that, do you know how bad society would look? But that's another episode. That's another time. Really, I just want to talk to you all about adulting and the funs of it. And the ups and downs. Honestly, adulting is like a whirlpool. Some days you wake up and you're like, oh, I love my life. You had a great moment. You just got a great job. You got a promotion. You graduated college. You did something. And you're like, oh, I love my life. And then one day, your boyfriend breaks up with you. And that was your plan to get married. And you were going to settle for that loser. Because, that loser was, you've been with him for 2 years. And you're like, okay, I'll settle. I don't want to restart. And then that loser decides to get some audacity and leave you. Or you decide, I deserve better and I want different. And now you have to start over. You have friends and you're there for them. But this friend has their own life. This friend's getting married. This friend's doing that. Everybody has their own life. Gosh, they don't talk about the separation of siblings when you get adulting too. When you're closer and your siblings, your whole life consists of your siblings. Your siblings are like your God-given best friends. But then you grow up and your siblings go this way. You go that way. And then what? Those siblings are gone. You don't see them every year. You don't see them all the time. You don't see them every holiday. Holidays don't mean anything. Oh, Christmas. Christmas and your birthday, you might as well kiss that shit goodbye. Because as you get older, the gifts stop coming. The money stops rolling. The happy birthdays stop coming around. You know, it's just so depressing as an adult. It's just like, and then you want to just like pluck one of the little kids in their forehead when they open their presents on Christmas. Because it's like, I would love to be in your shoes right now. But that's what I have for you today. Thank you for joining my podcast for episode 4 of Adulting. Hope to see you soon. Bye.